Okay. Conversation that came up yesterday, still the overtasking. And I know, Angela, you made a comment about you still have a lot of tasks that you're not able to get to, right?
Yeah.
So I love the 3 strikes you're out rule, because we do tend to accumulate tasks over time as we continue to get more busy and more leads are coming in. And, my whole goal is always creating the luck in the database. And I'm never going to back down on the fact that everyone increases the amount of times they log in when they're getting closer to pulling the trigger, or when something sparks their interest and they want to possibly pull the trigger. So I don't want to say eliminate these people from the reviews. But as we've been reviewing week over week, month over month, and we start having that baseline of what these leads are doing, after about, you figure if you do 2 to 3 weeks of reviewing their habits and watching their logins and they've been consistent, we can move them back to that attempted contact status so that they do fall into that third priority, because they're going to be continually logging in. So if you want to eliminate those tasks, we know that we're always catching them in that attempted contact status, which brings us to the situation of, I'm getting a lot when I've been calling in one particular website, I'm retiring in a year, or I'm retired and my wife's retiring in a year. We're going to be making a move in about a year. Is that a familiar one? Have you heard that one?
Yeah.
So that puts in question, what do we do with these leads? So are you game for a role play? Can you be the person retiring?
Sure.
Awesome. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Good morning, Angela. Hey, this is Beverly. I saw that you were looking at some homes here in the Philly area. What's your situation, Angela? What's going on?
Well, you know what? We're really just looking right now, just trying to get a feel of what's going on in the market. We're just seeing what's going on, because, we're getting ready to retire. We're not sure what we want to do, if we want to stay where we are, if we want to move closer to where our grandkids are. So I'm just really kind of checking out what's going on in the market area to see what's out there.
And do you live in the Philly area now?
I do not, but my son does, and my daughter-in-law and my grandchildren are closer to there.
Gotcha. So how far away are you now from them?
We're in New Jersey, so it's about an hour.
Okay, so not too far. Now, taxes in Jersey, you're in like the tax capital of the United States, right?
And then some.
So would that be a good reason to retire, maybe in Pennsylvania, lower taxes too?
Yeah, lower taxes, a little bit lower taxes there, but also, the travel time would be less.
For sure, for sure. So, Angela, let me just ask you, what can we do to help you through that process while you're kind of doing your homework and doing some research? Because I know you've jumped online and you're looking at some homes here. What would that ideal home look like if you were to retire here in the Philly area? How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms?
Well, we would probably want at least 2 to 3 bedrooms, so that if we had the grandkids over, they could stay overnight, and maybe we could use one as an office if we needed to as well. We're about a year or so out. I'm still working. My husband's retired, but I'm still about 2 years out from retiring. So
okay,
that's my line. So, but yeah, just to give you an idea of where we're at.
So the question, if you're 2 years out, so what I'm sitting here thinking right now, if the opportune property would come on the market, would you be in a position to purchase sooner before you retire to take advantage of prices before they start going up?
I honestly couldn't answer that, just because, I'm still working in New Jersey, and I think about, do I want to commute to New Jersey?
Right. Well, what I was meaning by that is, would you be in a position to purchase now and it just be kind of a second home for a little while to take advantage of the interest rates now and the prices now, and then go ahead and sell your home later whenever you do make that decision to retire?
Yeah, we couldn't carry 2 mortgages. We would definitely have to sell the property that we have now.
Gotcha. So price point that you're looking at, what would be comfortable as far as a mortgage payment per month?
We would love to be able to just sell the property that we have now, the house we have now.
Yep.
To take that and just roll that into a new one and not have to have any kind of a mortgage payment. We own the house outright, so we're looking to not go above about $250.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, Angela, because I know you're in those beginning stages, we just really want to be your go-to place. I'm going to get your search criteria set up, and obviously we'll get all your cities and everything taken care of as well. And I will tell you, a lot of the emails do go to spam because the houses are actually in there. And I'm just going to do a quick check-in in like 2 to 3 weeks and just make sure that the emails are coming to you and not going to your spam, because I know I'm not really a top priority right now, right? Because it's not like you're going to run down here and write a contract on a house today, right?
Right, exactly, because, you know, we're like I said, I was honest, we're about to sell.
Yeah, and it may be something that you may not even end up moving here, but again, we just want to be that go-to place for you to be able to be giving you the right information. So we don't want to blow up your email. We don't want to be sending you too much, but we do want to have that correspondence through time. Is that okay?
That sounds good.
Awesome. So, and role play and cut. You know, those situations when I'm looking in everyone's databases, that's real life situation. And one thing that I have heard over and over again yesterday is it's really frustrating because so many people are so used to the way leads used to be that today people really are doing research a lot sooner than what they're going to be making that decision. And it's so important today more than ever to make sure that database is organized and we don't lose these people. And I know, I mean, most of you all that are on the role play today have been with our role play since January, February, and you've been monitoring and watching people's habits. And the average, our average, when we look at last year, the average buyer was 7 months on everything that we closed. So it is important to pay attention to people that are active in our database and not lose them and forget them. So like we were saying, being aware of not overtasking yourself, but yet paying attention to these leads, we could even add, because retirement does come up a lot, that's a situation. You can add a tag or a label and put retiring. And all we want to do is make sure that people are staying active in our database, because the main goal, A, is contact as many people as what we can to be able to put in that pipeline, and then B, keep them logging in so that we are the ones that are top of mind. Because we always have to remember these leads are in other people's databases. And my eyes are kind of wide open too. I have a site that is down in a vacation destination, second home, retirement home. You know, when we start adding personality to our correspondence, what do we do on social media? We put our personality out on social media and we attract people that are like us. So when we start putting our personality into our text messages and into our emails, we start attracting people in the audiences that are like us. And when we start attracting people that we like to do business with, because what do we hear all the time? Everybody's entitled and nobody's loyal. The more commodity you have with your audience and your target audience, the more loyal of a clientele that you're going to maintain and keep, because they feel that connection. I was having a great conversation yesterday with an agent, and we were talking about one of the clients that she's just connected to because it reminds her so much of her father. And when we connect with people like that, it's just not us making that connection. It's also them making that connection. So it is important to create those relationships through time, because I hear a lot of times, how do I follow up? What do I say to these people? Think about your own personality whenever someone calls you and says, hey, I was just thinking about you. That's powerful, especially if you've made a sale with somebody a year ago and they call and remember you. And I'm going to use a goofy example. I bought a hot tub a year ago, September. So it's coming on 2 years that I bought the hot tub. I go back there every couple of months to renew all of my crap that I got, all the chemicals that I got to throw in the hot tub. That guy remembers my name as soon as I walk in that door. That's why I keep going back, and I got to drive 45 minutes to get those chemicals when I could get them right across the street. When people remember personal things about you, that is what's way cool. So whenever we're looking at following up with certain people, those notes are vital. And I'll tell you what gets people the most: get their dog's name, get their cat's name, because if you, or their kid's name, because people love talking about their dog. I was talking to a lady yesterday, and she's like, I need a condo that's good for pets 50 pounds and over because I have this Irish setter. She went on for 5 minutes about her goofy Irish setter. I'm like, we're kind of talking about homes here, but you can tell that's what they love. So in the notes, you've got to say, oh my gosh, she's in love with her Irish setter. And she even said, I love my Irish setter more than my kids. When we remember those things about people, it makes that connection. So whenever we do follow up, you're creating that relationship. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a different time. And, you know, I was talking to a team owner yesterday, and he said, we're not converting as many leads as we used to 2 years ago. And I'm like, you're right. It's 2016. And he's like, are the leads worse? And I'm like, no, they're just, we are in the database industry, and we've got to build the database. And the longer that database is sitting there percolating, the more valuable it becomes. So don't forget about your leads that a year ago said they were moving, because the most frustrating thing is when you get on the phone and they're like, I already bought. We got to catch them before they already bought, because again, what do we say all the time? People are a matter of convenience. And if they're out driving by a home and they see a listing and they call that listing agent. I had a conversation yesterday with an agent. She's been working with the guy, and I can't remember if she showed him a home or not. It had a great relationship. She followed up with him. He put a contract on a home with the listing agent. And it, you know, it's like we have to learn from those instances. It's going to happen. But all we can do is take that and make lemonade from our lemons and go, how can we prevent that from happening again? And it's educating, yeah. and it's letting them know through the process and getting them to talk to an agent and creating that connection, so to speak. It is 9:30. Angela, do you have anything that you want to shout out?
No, I think that was because it's a lot of what I do, but I love the idea of doing the label for, you know, somebody who's going to be retiring so that you can keep them together.
Yeah.
I do love that. Click on it and be done with it. I'm wondering also, and maybe this is just food for thought, would it be a viable idea to do some sort of a long-term drip campaign for somebody who's retiring?
I was just thinking that whenever you said that, because that's the whole purpose of segmenting our database into groups. Because then when you've got a group that are all supposedly in the same situation, you can create those campaigns. And it's so imperative right now. And it's like, now we just need to think about, what does that campaign look like? What do people retiring, what's their focus? And, you know, it doesn't have to be salesy. It doesn't have to be all about buying a house. It can be education on what to do after you retire and what they can look forward to in retirement. And it just be, you know, I go back to those National Pie Day, National Pet Day, National Paper Day, whatever. I mean, you got the National Day for everything. And just pulling out little lines just to keep them focused on retiring. Because everybody loves to talk about, well, I'm going to be retiring. I'm going to be retiring. Well, what's going to happen to your life whenever you retire?
Yeah, I mean, you could even do one of the posts, and then you could even, on the drip campaign, you know, what are you looking forward to when you retire? You know, it's a conversation, because that's part of creating that relationship. And you really, that's what people are looking for right now. They are looking for people who are going to build that relationship, and I don't want to say cater to them, but talk to them and make them feel like more than just a number, quite honestly.
Absolutely. Well, and that's where I'm building campaigns right now. And in that vacation destination area. And, you know, it's what's your favorite? What do you love about your favorite city, your area? What do you love about this particular location? And I just want to get in their heads and find out what it is they do like. Because once you, like you said, once you start creating those relationships, it's not all about the sales right now. It's all about being that top of mind. And if you're hitting people on what they like to talk about, they are going to respond back. And if they don't, oh, well, so be it. It's not the right audience for you. It's not the right client for you. So we want to attract clients that are like us. So you really can't go wrong with having your personality shine through text and emails because everybody is different. Fantastic, everybody. Well, have a marvelous, I'll use a different word, Allison, weekend. And I hope you all have a wonderful time today calling your leads. Bye, everybody. Until next week.
All right, bye.